I was leaving coffee, somebody had a baby Boston Terrier that looked like Ozzy. It
Oh.
was gray. And I was like, I can't not stop and see your dog.
I saw a
cute.
French bulldog at the coffee shop too, and I was like, "Can I pet your dog?"
So she told me that this was like a French bulldog Boston Terrier mix.
Huh.
And I was like, it looks just like Ozzy, and he is not a mix. Like, are we doing this? I guess I don't know if
Yeah,
that's the best mix, guys.
I don't think that's a good mix.
Very cute. Very cute. Let's do this. Welcome to Supercharged by AI, podcast by AI Portland. I am Megan Notarte, co-founder of AI Portland and partner at Cloud4. And you are?
Nicole Moores, co-founder of AI Portland and product design person at Lithium Motors.
You are a product design person. This is like our 27th episode, and every time we say the read-in, I feel like it's the first time.
I think it's always different too. We always say it slightly
or we
different.
like say our titles a little different. It's like we're the same people doing the same thing. Here we are.
But sometimes you feel differently about that thing, depending on what day it is.
That's true. Boy, that's an interesting time to be alive. But we had an action-packed week. We're not recording this at 7 a.m. the next day, by the way, because it was too hard. There's too many things going on. But where do you want to start? We want to start with last night, or do we go back a couple days?
Let's start with Monday. You had an exciting event to benefit the city. Was it?
I think it was
oh my
Tuesday.
God.
I know.
Y'all, I can't even keep the week straight. I've been like that all week.
No, on Tuesday, you and I were talking and you go, Megan, don't worry. It's just Monday.
Yes. I have no concept of time.
Me neither. But it was Tuesday. You're right. We had a cool event.
Yes. With the city.
So we had the opportunity. Maybe I should back up. You and I, from year one of AI Portland, had this desire to like pull together some sort of build challenge, hackathon, something that wasn't just for like building cool things, which is very cool. There are a lot of them happening in town right now. It's very cool. Lots of energy around it, but also like building towards a specific goal. And so we have been always interested in doing that. And we had the opportunity to work with the Technology Association of Oregon, with Oregon State University, with the city and the mayor's office, because they were doing a civic incubation lab. So that was Tuesday. I got to go. And it was really cool. City employees shared some pain points that technology might be able to help with. And then teams were formed and ideas were shared. Possible solutions or ideas were sort of shared out at the end. And then the idea is that on May 11th, at the beginning of Startup Week, we all come back together and we'd be able to talk more about those solutions. Maybe teams have taken it further along or whatever. It was cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it was really neat to see the engagement among the different groups. I got to meet the mayor. He shook my hand, looked me in the eye. It was great.
Yeah. I also think worth mentioning as well is that it was in the new Upstart space in Big Pink. So that's super rad, just to have another option for gathering and community building here in Portland, especially centrally located as it is.
It's funny because the fact that it's in Big Pink, you might just be like, whatever. It's like, it's a neat space somewhere. But there is like a gravity, or like there's something brewing, and having it in downtown, being up in the space, which is beautiful, and like the windows behind you are all these kind of like iconic Portland things back there. It does create this inspirational vibe. And there is an energy up there. You and I are up there a lot, and it just, you can feel it.
Yeah, Josh is building something really cool. Really cool.
Yep, it's really neat to see that happening, and there's just a vibe and a energy that I find very attractive right now. It's very neat.
We need
and we
that.
need it. That's right. We need it. So we spent, we could be like, we hung out with the mayor or whatever. That was cool. That was
I heard
Monday.
the mayor hangs out in North Portland at the Nighthawk.
You did share that article with me.
I was like, that is so cool. He's going to the
Also,
Nighthawk.
I saw today there were photos of him like on Sundays or something doing trash cleanup and like working his way around the city. So I think he was out there doing the work.
I actually have a really good transition. So the mayor hangs out at the Nighthawk discussing business, like mayor, like Portland business, important matters like the Columbia Pool. My doctor's husband owns the Nighthawk. And last night,
What's about health?
our event was all about AI and healthcare. We even had a doctor on our panel.
That was such a natural transition. It was so good.
Can't make that stuff up. You can't make any of those facts up. Portland's also very small.
Man, is it? I had coffee somewhere today, and absolutely someone I knew walked in unrelated. I was like, "Oh, this is the place to be." Nope, it's just we live in this big city, small
where'd you have
town.
coffee at?
The Great North on Alberta.
Oh, shout out!
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah, it was great, delicious. Anyway, so yes, last night. Okay, but we skipped over something. We come back to the happy hour on Wednesday. Did you forget that it happened? I know there's so much. It didn't fit the transition.
It didn't. I skipped it because I had a transition.
That's great. I'm ruining your transition completely. Let's talk about last night. Yeah. So we had our healthcare panel. Oh, people showed up.
I actually thought a lot about my doctor, my various interactions with her last night, and where I could use more support as a patient, as we all are patients at various times throughout our lives. So
it made sense. Yeah,
it did.
So we had, just briefly for those of you who were not among the 110 in attendance, we had a panel and we had Janet Johnson sort of representing the ethical governance. She is the founder of AI Governance Group. So she's sort of representing that point of view and moderating the panel. And then we had Burt Rosen from he represents the patient perspective. He's in marketing from OSU, but his role on this panel was really, he is dealing with several different conditions, complex, and he's using AI in a lot of very future forward ways to manage his own health. And then we had Dr. Arpi. I'm going to not mess up her last name. She told me how to say it. 1 second. Dr. Arpi Chalian. Rhymes with stallion. I know. That's what she told me. It was helpful.
Did you know that Arpi went to medical school with Jordan Plonner's sister?
I did. He told me that. Also, I think Portland's a small town. Apparently, medical students. I know. That's so funny. So Dr. Chalian, I mean, lots of clinical experience, was on the clinical staff at UCLA, USC. So she was really representing the physician point of view. And I think the coolest thing for me about the event was how interactive it was. We've talked on this podcast about Q&A.
This is not this is not a format that Megan would readily embrace because you can't control it.
You just don't know. True.
So
I'm getting better at embracing the unknown.
But they had, this vision for the event, and all three of them just so smart, so charismatic, and they really wanted it to be interactive. So there was some content where Janet sort of walked through their backgrounds. They each talked a little bit about their different perspectives. Burt talked a lot about his own experience being a cancer patient and using different AI tools to help him on his journey. And Arpi talked about her perspective being in pediatrics as a physician and how they're using tools, how they feel about patients using AI. And then really, they just took questions,
Yes.
and which was amazing. Most of the content last night was just people standing up or sitting, raising their hand and saying, I have a question. And it was this really energetic and sort of kinetic energy between the folks that attended the event and the panel.
Yes, and I really felt like people were engaging with what was happening instead of just being, read a bunch of statistics on
Listening,
slides.
or like a question is asked and then it's like, and now I have one for Bert. It wasn't that at all. It
No,
was
yeah,
it was very interactive.
it was from just like an organizer perspective, it was very fulfilling to see because I feel like everybody got something and I got a lot of different topics out on the table. I mean, this topic, I think Bert's journey is a little bit, I'm not controversial, but it is like really he is out there in terms of like how he's using AI to aggregate his health data, to find trends and things that are happening to him, to find areas where he maybe should be making slightly different choices that might make him feel better. And there are a lot of people who are uncomfortable with providing that level of access to personal data to different AI models. And so it is a little provocative, but like, it is his true personal experience. He is not sitting up there saying, this is what everyone should do. He's saying that this is what I'm doing. It is truly beneficial to me.
Right. And the way it came across to me is that this empowers him, right? And especially in a situation where you could feel not empowered, right?
We
And
often feel disempowered. How often when you go to the doctor do you feel empowered? Never. Rarely. Not very often. Yeah.
no.
So I think that is something you can't turn away from, even as we think about the implications of that. What does it mean for the doctor? Arpi talked a lot about what it means for her, how often she doesn't know the answer to something, but also her expertise that she can bring. I think Burt described it as like the three-legged stool. He has him, he has his doctor, and now he has his like AI that's doing it. And that she's able to bring an experience and a human expert perspective to the information that he is bringing to his appointments, for
Well, and she
example.
also said that she would much rather someone come in informed with a perspective, with information, than not having a patient just relying solely on what she is bringing to the table. She said that that's actually like a more give and take medical relationship as opposed to not using
To not,
AI.
yeah. I also think, Bird is going beyond the like doom symptom Googling that we all do. And then we go into our doctor and we like,
No,
are
he's
we,
using it for empowerment, for information, for, he said he only gets to see his doctor ever so often. And so he's very much using it, supplementally to help him in between being able to go see his doctor and then being much more informed and knowledgeable when he does go
He
see.
also talked about like the amount of discernment that he brings to it. So he's not
Right.
just like going into ChatGPT and going, oh my gosh, what does this symptom mean? And then walking into his doctor's office and like telling them that, like it is a process for him and also the way that he communicates with his caregivers.
This is so hard. This is a problem with AI in general, right? You have some people who may use AI tools and be able to have that discernment, like Bert, and then you have other people who maybe won't and will be like, there's going to be some horrible hallucination, and that person isn't going to have that discernment, and someone will get hurt. Like,
Yep.
but the risk reward, you know what I mean? It's just hard. It's just the same thing like AI companionship, right? Someone
Right.
can have a very normal friendship with maybe an AI entity, and then
Yep.
someone is going to not, and it's going to be very bad for them,
Yeah, and how do we identify that? How do we take care for those folks that will have negative outcomes? And I think the reality is we don't know the answer to that on either of those
No.
fronts. We also talked about like who gets left behind in this adoption. I thought it was really interesting when it came up, like, how do we make sure that elderly people are like granted the same level of access? I think that that is true even with the internet and paying bills online or having to pay your taxes online. Like tax day just happened, right? And I have heard stories about elderly folks who like the IRS really is discouraging checks. But like that is really hard if they don't know how to go get an account and pay online. Like it's hard. And so those barriers are already there. How do we keep different groups and different people in mind as we're now proceeding down even further into this like generative AI landscape? Burt had an interesting perspective on that, where he was talking about how what he's doing to sort of build this health profile of himself is also a hedge for that later, right? So that he has that information when he's
Yeah.
older.
Well, and people likened it to having like a digital clone of yourself, right?
Yeah, we kind of got into that. Yeah, which is like a
Yeah.
whole other topic.
Yeah. I mean, the more context you give it, the more you can do with it. So it makes sense. You know, it's just this feeling you get inside where you're like, this is my personal flesh bag data.
You, ding, ding,
It's been a
ding.
minute. It's been a minute.
You were like, how do I work this in?
That was completely off the cuff. That came from my heart. That came from my heart. But it's hard to describe, but it's like this feeling of like, should I be putting this in, all this very sensitive information in, you know? And Bert's answer is absolutely 100% yes. Give
For
it
him.
everything. Give it
For
everything.
him.
I think the other pushback where it almost is like, Bert, come on, it's fantastical. You know what I mean? Is like, you don't actually know what information AI is using to give you any sort
we
of
talked about that.
information back. So I mean, theoretically, you could somehow obtain only credible medical resources and create some sort of RAG thing that you could query against. You know what I mean? But I mean, and there'll probably be tools that do that, right?
Eventually. I
But
mean,
you can't
yeah.
guarantee. And so you have these people probably, you know, people close to the medical side that are just like, that's completely inappropriate. And like, you
Unacceptable.
don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, that is not the level in which we treat, you know, medicine. And
Right.
they're probably
that came
right.
up. Yeah, they're
probably
probably right. Yeah. Yeah, there was talks of like insurance for providers and like all that stuff. And I mean, I think there were no really easy, clean answers on any of that. Like we're in it. And I think like that's sort of where we landed, is like we are in an uncomfortable moment in lots and lots of different ways when it comes to AI. You and I talk about this all the time. But when we think about medicine and healthcare in particular, we're in an even more uncomfortable, I think it's like a little more stark in some ways, because the promise of like what Burt was talking about, like having personalized medical attention for
medical
you.
attention and like yes, 100% catered to you and your individual needs, scenario, situation. That is compelling.
We can see that and say that would be good, but we also have to hold, what if it's wrong? What if someone gets hurt because it's wrong? What if it doesn't work at all? We don't have doctors anymore and now we're in the dystopia. Like the fear.
But people pointed out rightfully so, doctors are wrong. We get it wrong. Humans are wrong all the time. Humans make mistakes, and then there are just bad doctors. It's just a job people can get. It's just a job. How many people you know who are bad at their jobs?
Not a one. I don't know a one. But yes, I mean, it did make me think about that, like, how often we've romanticized what exists when something new is coming along, where we're like, oh, don't change XYZ because this new thing is scary. And you're like, was the existing thing actually working for us too? It had problems too.
Yeah.
It made me think of that.
I really feel that the scale of the medical industry, right? It has completely lost the like personalized. you know, back
Yes,
when you
the
had
idea.
your family doctor and they just knew your mom's history, your dad's history, your
Right,
history,
they knew
whatever.
so
That is
much.
not a
Yes.
thing anymore. And so maybe it is AI family doctor. You know what I mean? Because you
Or
can
like
give it and it will just remember.
something in the middle, right? Like I think we did sort of talk about how, I mean, there were different takes on this, but like the human doctor will exist in some form, in some capacity. And how can we make it so this system is augmenting that in a way that benefits the patient, benefits the doctor. Doctors, I mean, some of the statistics they gave at the beginning on burnout and like stuff like that, like it is not, I know personally 2 or 3 physicians that have left the country, right? They're no longer practicing here. So we have a real need too to figure this out because people do not have access to healthcare in the way that we would want. And so it's like, do we wait till this is perfect? And is it perfect when it was just the people getting out there? Like, I don't know. They're very interesting questions. And I loved the fact that by and large, we were all in this space together and we were holding these uncomfortable reality that we live in right now. And it felt really honest.
Some people got mad.
I was wondering if we were going to talk about that.
Yeah, let's do it. Some people got mad and left.
Yeah.
I think that's the sign of a good event. Like you feel provoked, you feel challenged, but you also feel inspired. Like Burt is a very inspiring person. He is taking charge. He's so open too with like his journey and his story. But he'll also be like, I 100% disagree with you.
Yes. I need a little more of that, like, conviction in my life, I think. But he has that.
We could all have more Burt.
A little more,
you know what I mean?
a little more like Burt.
I disagree with you. And that's 100%. Okay. We're just going to disagree right now.
It's fine.
But like in a really constructive way, you know?
100%. And in that case, when he disagreed with something, you know, he was talking about how they were talking about the difference between like N=1 medicine and then like population level medicine.
Because that's how we do it now. And Burt pointed that out. Like medicine it works for 80%, but what if you're the 20%? You know what I mean? It doesn't, it's not meant to work for 100% of people. It could never.
And truly, he only cares about N=1. Right?
But like that's all we all care about.
That's all he cares about.
We're the star of our own show. Yeah.
And sure, like, obviously, I think it goes without saying, like, population level medicine is important. Public health, that's how science is done, whatever. And that was a moment. We did have some folks who, you know, decided they were going to move on to their evening somewhere else. But for the people who stayed, I think that I think we did a good job. The panel did a good job of talking about this from all different angles. And that is what you and I are trying to do with these events, right? Like,
absolutely.
We believe so strongly that this uncomfortable middle is where we're at and we need to talk about it. We need to examine it.
Yeah, I think when you look at the totality of AI, like healthcare is one of the ones where you're like, if it can make us live better, more healthy lives, like that's one of the dreams. You know what I mean? We have to figure it out because it's solidly in the benefit part of the Venn diagram of, you know.
Right. Yeah, so I was saying it makes the uncomfortable truths like a little starker because the positives are, we can see them. It's not just like, is AI going to help me at work? It's like, wow, it could save lives. And then
it's also okay to leave early because it's not for you. I mean, that happened to me at the AI movie. I ran away because it was scary. It was scary. I was like,
I'm anxious and I need to go.
I just can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I agree. There.
I mean, sometimes you gotta go, and that is
I gotta go.
okay.
Cannot stay here. I've had enough of this content.
Yeah, that is okay. I think it is a sign of a active conversation, though. I mean, I guess people leave sometimes if they're bored, but that hasn't really happened.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I think it was a good. I felt very like fulfilled leaving. You know, I guess I just like, as I reflected on it last night, I just felt really grateful that, you know, we know the panelists and that they came to us and that like they were so, like you said, so vulnerable and so open and so like it is very nerve-wracking as a panelist to be just taking, 45 minutes. We went, so normally our content window for an event is about 20 to 30 minutes. We went like 6:15 to 7:30.
Yes.
That was probably like 6:20 to 7:30.
I think that event could have run twice as long too.
Dude,
I
we
think there
could
was
not get
nowhere
people out of
near
there.
being done. Yeah,
There was so much conversation.
I
Yeah.
think we should have another event of that nature, maybe even another healthcare, because I feel like it was a big conversation, and I think we just scratched the surface, really.
Yep. I agree. Shout out to Boomy. We had, and Kiln, of course, for hosting us and our usual sponsors, but Boomy was our event sponsor for that night. And Brandon came, and he gave Nicole and I a pair of socks.
Well,
and
he gave me a pair of socks, and then I split it with Megan.
He gave Nicole a pair of Boomy socks, and which are very cute. And being the way that we are, I have a sock and Nicole has a sock.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we will do with her.
We'll figure it out.
Anyway, it's always great to have support. It helps pay for the snacks and our time, so that is very, very helpful. And
Can we give a shout out to the snack person? Because I feel like we always have so much extra cheese. Even our Friends of Figma event, someone had to take
Sabrina,
home
but there was a lot of cheese.
So much cheese. And we always have so much cheese. And I was just like, not on my watch, not tonight. I'm only getting the most appropriate amount of cheese. And I nailed it.
I would like to talk about this for a second, because did you just hear that?
What
Did
was
you hear
that?
a noise? That was my Alexa coming on for some reason.
Weird.
Also, friends, my cat had entered the chat a minute ago, so we all might have heard that. Okay. I want to talk about snacks just for a second. We talk about food a lot on our podcast, actually, but I hate doing the snacks. This is something you and I know. Like, it just stresses me out with dealing with the food. And Nicole was like, I got it. I got the snacks this time. She did have the snacks this time, first of all, and she's absolutely right. It was the exact right amount of snacks. I've got some bags of like popcorn or something left over.
Yeah.
But I was giving out parting Baby Bells. That was like our new ceremony. I think we might have to have those every single time, because we just had like a few of them left.
So yeah, I did the cheese slices, you know what I mean? And then I was like, oh, you know what's better than cheese slices are these little individual cheeses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yes, they can go on the road. You can take that to go.
We had some of them left, and I was just like, hey, it's time to go. Would you like to take a cheese? Everybody took a cheese. So now I think we have a new tradition. But also, like you nailed it. It was good snacks. It was just the right amount.
Just the right amount of cheese.
Thank you for doing
satisfying.
that.
So satisfying.
Is that the title of this episode? Just the right amount of cheese? I feel like it's
happening. Megan, how much cheese when we do our own snacks? How much cheese do we have?
So much cheese. Arguably a lot of crackers too, but those at least keep. So you end up with crackers. That's
just
fine.
No one needs to eat that much cheese, like leftover cheese.
No. Oh my gosh. So well done. Lots of successes last night. Lots of successes. Any other thoughts about last night's AI Portland? Did we miss anything?
I know we always say this every time, but I definitely think this was one of my favorites. It's up there, maybe top 5 favorites.
I think it might be. I have to revisit, but it is up there for me. And it's been a really busy week, so I don't know what I expected, so I just was so happy and grateful last night as I was thinking about it. One of the best.
Agreed.
We also had a happy hour this week because why not? There is OSU is having an AI week down in Corvallis. So actually our civic event on on Tuesday.
See, the week is all off.
Yes, that was in conjunction with OSU's AI week that's happening. We also did a happy hour in conjunction with that AI week here in Portland. So we partnered with Prosper Portland, and Migration Brewery has a really cool pop-up. I don't know. Is it? No, it's their patio space, I guess.
They have a space activation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling it, because it's not quite a bar. It's not quite a pop-up. It's just like there's a space in a building, the Pac West building, and they're in it and they've activated it. And there were
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
in there
It
playing
was,
pool,
yeah.
having a drink after work, and it has a beautiful patio.
That's what I was gonna say.
The space is
patio.
amazing. Yeah, it's just a great space. Highly recommend if you work downtown, take your team there and like do a happy
It's
hour.
great. Yeah. The patio, when it's nice out, it was unfortunately windy and it had hailed earlier in the day. So we did go on the patio, but we weren't out there that long. But really, really neat space. And I always going to our social events, I'm like, oh man, we have to go do this thing. But like every time we both leave, we had so many interesting conversations. And I think because it was like somewhat OSU affiliated and like Prosper Portland, like we definitely get a different segment of people. Talked about AI with like people who make knives and a violin professor, like, just really cool, interesting conversations.
Agreed, wholeheartedly.
And very fun. Shout out Prosper. That always fun to partner with them on things.
Yeah, they're just all so great.
Yeah, was a great night of networking. And we do these things not just because we love to hang out with people, but because it provides this opportunity for magical things to happen between people. And so it's always fun to see the different connections and make the different connections between people. And suddenly they're like, how did I not know about this person? And you're like, I know now. That always brings me a ton of joy. What do we need more in this world, Nicole? Joy.
Yeah, joy. We have more happy hours. We have more coffees. We have more.
Yeah, more things coming up.
Plenty of opportunities for whoever.
Yeah, come out. Hang with us.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Thank you again for listening to this episode of Supercharged by AI. Subscribe to get all the latest episodes and check us out at aipdx.info for more information.